Okay, so in neurolinguistic programming, there is a concept known as levels of change, and it's often referred to as neurological levels of change. And what this is kind of just a hierarchy or a pyramid that shows the different levels in which we can enact change at or make shifts at. And it kind of speaks to different levels of consciousness. So, all the way from the spiritual down to the mental, emotional, and physical. So, to kind of break that down a little bit further, the lowest level of this pyramid would be your environment. So, your surroundings, where you live, your setting. And then that is always followed by your behaviors, so your actions that you're taking. And then the level above that would be your capabilities, so your skill set, your talents. And then the level above that is your values and your beliefs. So now we're starting to really get up there psychologically. And of course, this is what you value in life, what you believe to be true, kind of your filter on the world. And then that is always holding up your identity. So this is kind of like the table legs to the tabletop of your identity. So who you are at the core. And then that level always precedes the purpose or the vision, or some people like to refer it as like meaning in life. And so it kind of cascades down from there. So the problem is in this hierarchy that most of us are trying to enact change at the lower level. So we're trying to change our environment or our behaviors because that's what feels most accessible to us and most kind of in our control. But what the truth is that these higher levels where you're holding your identity and your belief and coming all the way down to those capabilities, behaviors, and environment, that's what enacts true change. So a lot of the change that we're making, even if we can do it, it can often be very challenging at a behavioral or even environmental level, like changing your location. And a lot of the obviously psychological values and belief systems are going to come with you, right? So it's not a true change. Oftentimes it's not sustainable and it's kind of superficial and it's often very challenging to maintain. So when I work with a client, we are always starting at that purpose level, at the highest level. And then we move to, once we have that vision in place and kind of the driving force and that passion and meaning behind it, then we move to the identity level and those values and beliefs that are supporting or holding up that identity. And those layers are your subconscious mind. So they're working on that psychological level. And I am a huge believer that all true change, healing, transformation happens at the level of the subconscious mind. And so if you're doing this work for yourself, I wanted to provide just a little glimpse of my belief change formula that I use with clients to help them, kind of bring awareness to those beliefs and values that are supporting that identity and fulfilling that purpose. And then take a look at them, reinstall new ones, and then create the behaviors or the repetition to bring those new beliefs into fruition. Your core beliefs are a collection of your thoughts, feelings, experiences, and attitudes in life. So it's essentially what you believe to be true. And many of these beliefs were formed at a very young age through family experiences, childhood experiences, media, culture, society. And it's really important for us to, especially in adulthood, take a look at these beliefs and even these kind of value systems, because often they are no longer supporting us. And if we don't take the time to really put a lens on them and get curious about them, we will carry those belief structures throughout the rest of our lives. And again, they may just not be aligned with the direction that you are now moving, when at a previous time in your life, they supported you in your childhood or in your teenage years or in that past job or relationship, but they are no longer aligned with the direction you're moving or the person you are becoming. The beliefs that you believe and the stories that you tell may seem extremely true to you because they're all you really know and have told yourself or told others for many years. And they're always living on the level of the subconscious mind again. So we may not even be aware of what those beliefs are until we do a little bit of excavating and bringing them to the surface, because the subconscious mind is always trying to conserve energy for you, and it's always running those habits and patterns on autopilot so you can direct that energy and attention towards decision making or conversation or things that require more energy and attention. So the key is always going to be recognizing these beliefs so that we can rewrite them and unlearn them in the same way that we learn them at a very young age or even a highly emotional experience. And so this allows us to reinstall a new belief that is much more supportive and much more aligned with the direction that we're moving. Let's dive into the 3-step belief change formula that I use with my clients and with myself anytime I feel a block coming up or something that's triggering me or causing me to enter a different emotional state. I will apply this formula. And I'm going to have my notes up again here. I love having the notes to kind of run through, especially for these videos, so I don't miss anything and can do it in a fluid way, in the same way that I would with a client where it's a little more conversational. But okay, so the first step is always going to be awareness. So that's just really identifying and creating that space for yourself, or that pause when you feel that belief come to the surface again. And this is the most important and powerful step in my mind. So creating that awareness is when you feel a negative emotion arise, it's time to get curious and pause and ask yourself just what belief or emotion is coming up right now. As simple as that, like what's coming up for me. And to give an example, I should have picked a good example. I don't have one written down, but let's say you just ate a big bowl of ice cream and then all of a sudden you're having similar kind of ruminating thoughts that you're never going to get in shape or that you're going to feel really badly later, whatever it is. So that's kind of the lens or the example that will pull this through, just something really simple that you can relate to and hopefully see some of your own belief structures through. So the second question is always, what emotional states am I entering? So let's say for this example, you're feeling anger, you're feeling guilt, you're feeling frustration, shame. And it's great, again, to just bring awareness. Don't judge yourself for feeling these emotions. Just recognize, okay, that's how I'm feeling. That's what's coming up again. And then what behaviors follow those emotions? So do you decide after that you're not going to go out with your friends that night because you're not feeling good about yourself anymore? Or do you kind of future trip and start thinking about how badly you're going to feel the next day because you shouldn't have ate that and it's going to upset your system or whatever it is? So think about the behaviors that follow. And then the last one, super simple, is just, is this belief serving you? And I know that sounds really obvious, but I think it's really important to just get a hard no and recognize that this is something that is no longer aligned with you and it's not helping you move in the direction that you want to go. Now that you're conscious of it, you have just moved through a huge step. So now you can, again, create that space and become the curious observer of this belief and not judge it and have the ability to move through it next time. So when I was really heavily doing this work, I would almost get excited when I was kind of triggered or feeling at unease or having these beliefs come up, because to me it was like, oh, there's an opportunity now for me to re-examine this and rewrite this. Like, I'm here. Thank you for presenting me this opportunity. Now I have the chance to do something differently this time. And so that brings us to our second step of the belief change formula, which is always redesign. And this is just the space where you can now take a different perspective on this belief and the situation, because you've created this space and this opportunity for you to install a new belief. And this is really just back to the neuroscience side of things, creating new neural networks for yourself. And so the question I would ask here is, what new thought or belief can you put in place and set out to prove instead? So oftentimes when I do this for myself or a client, I would even install an I am statement at the identity level, even taking it a step further. And you could say, and even if you don't believe it yet, this is part of where the third step comes in as that repetition. But installing that new belief could be, I am a fit and healthy person. I am not the kind of person that has a bowl of ice cream for dinner, right? So it's just creating that new belief now that you're setting out to prove. And you can look for evidence in your current life that you are fit and healthy and taking care of yourself. Like, oh, I get 8 hours of sleep and I had a salad for lunch, or I went for a run today, and start seeing that. And you can also start choosing to show up in an even higher level, doing other things for your health and fitness. And so that brings us to the last stage, and that is always repetition. So now that you have this new belief and this new evidence that you've set out to see and prove, now we want to create the rituals and routines that support that, because this solidifies those neural networks and creates that new sustainable belief. So you can ask yourself, how does this person, now that you are somebody that is fit and healthy, how do they show up every day? What thoughts and beliefs do they have? And again, when I was really heavily doing this work, I would even do a whole journal page on this. Like, I show up as this person, I think these things, and I do these things. So, for example, let's see, a person that has, again, like this physical fit mentality and is healthy and taking care of themselves, well, they don't snooze their alarm 4 times in the morning. They just get right up out of bed and go for a run, because you are that person. Or you have fresh vegetables and rice and a protein for dinner instead of a large bowl of ice cream, because you are showing up as that person. And the more that you repeat that and the more that you see that, the more that you become it. This creates an identity shift. So again, at that highest level of change and transformation. So you've altered your beliefs and you have now changed the way that you're seeing yourself and showing up at that identity level. And you are now enacting those thoughts, words, and actions to literally become it. And this is so, so powerful, because you've been consciously, through repetition, showing up, practicing being a healthy, fit person. Well, after doing it enough, it is going to move back into your subconscious mind. So you're not going to even have to think about showing up and choosing something healthy or going for that workout or whatever it is, because it's who you are now. And that is a powerful, powerful shift, because you are no longer becoming it or doing it, you are being it.